Let's be real for a second. In a world full of highlight reels, perfectly lit performances, magazine cover photo shoots, sold-out stadium concerts, what does it say about a person when the moment that breaks the internet is him folding his clothes? Welcome back to the channel. If you're here, you already know that when it comes to Jimin, it's never just about the music. It's never just about the dance. And it's definitely never just about what happens under those concert lights. Today we're going deep into one of the most quietly powerful moments of BTS Festa 2026, Jimin's normal log. And if you haven't seen it yet, by the end of this video, you're going to want to drop everything and go watch it immediately. So make sure you stick around, because this one hit different. BTS Festa 2026 has been an emotional roller coaster from day one. For 13 years, ARMY has stood by these 7 men through military service, solo careers, world tours, and everything in between. And this year, June 2026, marks the first time in years that all 7 members are fully back, fully active, and celebrating their anniversary together while the Arirang World Tour is literally happening right now. So the energy around Festa 2026 is not just celebratory, it's historic, it's healing, and every single piece of content released this week has carried the weight of that. On June 7th, Big Hit released 7 individual normal log videos, one for each member, all exactly 6 minutes and 13 seconds long. That number is not a coincidence. 6 to 13, June 13th, the date BTS debuted back in 2013. Every second of those videos was intentional. Every second was a gift. And ARMY received it as exactly that. Now, each member's normal log captured something different. RM was seen reading an English art book he'd been working through for a month. Jungkook was doing chin-ups. Jin had a moment with Jimin, and Jungkook that had everyone screaming. But it was Jimin's video, quiet, unhurried, almost unbearably intimate, that seemed to land the hardest for fans around the world. So what exactly happened in Jimin's normal log? Here's what you need to know. The video was filmed at a hotel in Tampa, Florida, right in the middle of the North American leg of the Arirang World Tour. And what does Jimin show us? Not a rehearsal, not a photo shoot, not a choreography session. He shows us himself, alone in his hotel room, folding his clothes and carefully packing his suitcase for the next destination on the tour. And then, in one of the most casually human moments you will ever see from a global superstar, he takes his vitamin C. That's it. That's the moment. Folding clothes, taking vitamins, moving on to the next city. And yet the reaction from ARMY worldwide was absolutely overwhelming. Within hours of the video going up on Weverse and YouTube, comments were flooding in. Fans described it as ASMR for the soul. Others said it was so healing. Someone wrote, "I don't know why I'm crying, he's literally just packing a bag." And another fan posted, "This is more comforting than anything I've watched in months." The post piled up millions of views before most of us had even finished our morning coffee. But here's the thing, and this is what I really want to talk about today. Why does this hit so hard? Why does a man folding his clothes in a Florida hotel room make millions of people emotional? Because I think if we dig into that question, we learn something really important about who Jimin is and why the connection between him and ARMY is unlike anything else in the music industry. Let's start with context. Jimin is currently living one of the most intense periods of his career. The Arirang World Tour is a massive global undertaking, sold-out arenas, city after city, continent after continent. The production is enormous. The performances are breathtaking. Every night, Jimin walks out on stage in front of tens of thousands of screaming fans and delivers something extraordinary. We've seen it. We've documented it on this channel. The freestyle moments, the emotional performances, the connection he builds with every single person in that room. And then the show ends. The lights go down. The crowd goes home. And Jimin goes back to his hotel room. And what does he do? He folds his clothes. He takes his vitamins. He gets ready for the next city. There is something almost unbearably human about that image. Because it strips away everything, the stage, the costumes, the spotlight, the millions of followers, and shows you a person who is simply taking care of himself. A person doing the quiet, unglamorous work of keeping it together while living a life that most people couldn't even imagine. Think about what the vitamin C actually represents in that moment. It's not a coincidence that it's in the video. Jimin has always been someone who is intensely aware of his body, as a dancer, as a performer, as someone who pushes himself harder than almost anyone we've ever seen in this industry. We've seen him perform through illness. We've seen him push through pain. We've seen him in Las Vegas on the Arirang tour, giving everything he had even when he wasn't at 100% physically. This is a man who understands what it costs to do what he does, and who quietly, deliberately, takes the steps to protect himself so he can keep going. The vitamin C is not a throwaway detail. It's a window. It says, I know what this body needs. I know what this job demands. And I am going to take care of myself so I can keep showing up for the people who need me to. That's discipline. That's professionalism. And somehow, when you watch it on camera, it's also one of the most vulnerable things you've ever seen. Now I want to talk about what ARMY saw in this video, because the reaction wasn't just emotional, it was deeply personal. People weren't just saying, this is cute, or he's so relatable. They were saying things like, watching this made me want to take better care of myself too. They were saying, I haven't been taking my vitamins, and now I'm going to start. They were saying, seeing him do this normal thing makes me feel like it's okay to be normal. That is the Jimin effect in its purest form. And it's something that we talk about on this channel a lot, but I want to really sit with it today because I think this moment encapsulates it better than almost anything we've covered. Jimin has always had this extraordinary ability to make people feel seen in their ordinariness. Not through big speeches or carefully crafted messages, though he's given us those too, and they've been beautiful, but through the small, unguarded moments. The moments when he's not performing for the camera. The moments when he's just being. And the normal log format was designed precisely to capture that. No scripts, no stage direction, just the members living their lives and letting ARMY in for 6 minutes and 13 seconds. And Jimin filled those 6 minutes and 13 seconds with the most ordinary thing he could have shown us. And it was perfect. Now let's zoom out for a second, because the individual reaction to this video exists within a much larger context that makes it even more meaningful. This is Festa 2026. This is the 13th anniversary. All 7 members are back. The Arirang World Tour is happening. BTS is not just a group anymore, they are a cultural institution, and this celebration reflects that. The stakes have never been higher. The expectations have never been bigger. And in that environment, what Jimin chooses to show us is this quiet, private moment of self-care in a Tampa hotel room. It's a choice. Make no mistake about that. Every idol, every global superstar, has the ability to craft their public image. Jimin could have shown us a workout. He could have shown us a rehearsal clip. He could have shown us himself in the mirror looking perfect. Instead, he chose to show us the unspectacular reality of life on tour. The suitcase, the folded clothes, the vitamin C, and that choice, that deliberate decision to be ordinary in the most public way possible, is one of the most extraordinary things about him. There's also something worth noting about the setting. Tampa, Florida. This is mid-tour. Jimin is on the road, far from home, living out of a suitcase. We sometimes forget, in all the excitement of following the tour, what it actually feels like to be the person living it. City after city, hotel room after hotel room. Waking up and not immediately knowing which country you're in. Having your entire life fit into a suitcase that you pack and unpack over and over again. And Jimin does that folding with such care. Such intention. There's no rushing, no throwing things in haphazardly. He folds each piece of clothing like it matters. Like the act of folding clothes is worthy of attention and care, even when you're exhausted. Even when you've just come off a massive stadium performance. Even when there's another city waiting for you tomorrow. That attention to the small things is, I think, one of the most underappreciated aspects of who Jimin is. We celebrate his art constantly, and we should because it's extraordinary. But this video reminds us that the art doesn't exist in a vacuum. It's built on thousands of small, careful choices made every single day. The vitamin C, the folded shirt, the packed suitcase, the quiet discipline of a person who takes his life seriously, even in the moments when no one is watching. Except now ARMY is watching. And they're watching with so much love. And this is where I want to pause and give credit to the normal log format itself, because it genuinely deserves it. This isn't the first time BTS has pulled back the curtain. They've done it through Wever's posts, through Run BTS, through years of behind-the-scenes content. But the normal log takes that a step further. It's not edited for drama. It's not packaged to show the most exciting version of their lives. It's just a camera, a member, and whatever their day actually looks like. And there's an enormous amount of courage in that, especially at this stage of their careers. These are men who could easily control every pixel of their public image. Instead, they choose to let us see the hotel rooms, the quiet mornings, the ordinary in-between moments that nobody has to share but they share anyway. That choice, repeated 7 times over in 7 different normal logs, says something profound about who BTS is as a group and what they believe their relationship with ARMY is built on. Not spectacle, not performance, trust. And Jimin, more than perhaps any other member, has always understood that the trust ARMY places in him is not something to be taken lightly. His relationship with fans has been built over years of small, genuine moments. The handwritten letters at every festa, the late-night Weverse posts, the way he speaks about missing ARMY when he's on the road. He has never treated fan love as background noise. He has always treated it as something real, something that demands a real response. And his normal log is entirely consistent with who he has always been. Here is my real life. Here is what it actually looks like. I'm not hiding it from you. That honesty is rare. And ARMY feels it every single time. Let's talk about the fan reactions a little more specifically, because they've been remarkable. Across Twitter, Instagram, Weverse, and TikTok, the response has been a mix of the emotional and the genuinely funny, which is very on-brand for ARMY. There are people crying. There are people making compilation videos of just the vitamin C moments set to emotional music. There are people joking that they're adding Jimin's supplement routine to their Amazon wishlist. There are threads analyzing the specific brands of his skincare products visible in the background. But underneath all of that, the tears, the humor, the chaos, there is a current of something really genuine. People feel close to him right now in a way that goes beyond fan and idol. They feel like they know him. They feel like they've been let into something private and precious. And the fact that he chose to share something this mundane, this real, feels like an act of trust. One fan tweet put it beautifully. They wrote, and I'm paraphrasing here, Jimin could have shown us anything and he chose to show us himself being a person. That's the greatest gift he could have given us. And I think that's exactly right. Because here's what we need to remember about where Jimin is in his life right now. This is June 2026. He came back from military service. He went straight into one of the biggest album launches of BTS's career with Arirang. He's been on the road, performing at a level that leaves audiences absolutely shattered in the best possible way. He's in the middle of a world tour that will end with 2 homecoming concerts in Busan, his hometown, his home, in front of a crowd that has been waiting years for this moment. And he's taking his vitamin C in a Tampa hotel room and folding his clothes, and he's letting us watch. And somehow that tells us everything we need to know about him. He's okay. He's taking care of himself. He's doing the work. He's showing up, day after day, city after city, with the same quiet intention and discipline that has defined his entire career. He's not burning out. He's not unraveling. He's doing what he's always done, taking the unglamorous, invisible steps that make the extraordinary possible. And ARMY, who has worried about him, who has watched him push himself too hard, who has seen the toll that this career can take, ARMY exhaled watching this video. That's part of why the reaction was so big. It wasn't just, he's so cute folding his clothes. It was, he's okay. He's really genuinely okay. And he's letting us see that. Now, as we head toward the Busan homecoming concerts on June 12th and 13th, which we will absolutely be covering on this channel, so make sure you're subscribed. The significance of this normal log feels even greater. Jimin is about to stand on a stage in his hometown and perform for the first time since 2022. The emotional weight of that moment is almost incomprehensible. And knowing that in the days leading up to it, he was in Tampa, quietly packing his suitcase and taking his vitamins, doing the work of a person who is prepared and grounded and ready, that's not nothing. That's everything. The normal log is called normal for a reason. Big hit, and BTS chose that title deliberately. Because what they're saying is, this is what normal looks like for us. This is the life behind the life you see on stage. And they're trusting ARMY to receive that honestly, to appreciate it, to love it not in spite of its ordinariness but because of it. And ARMY has received it exactly that way. The comment section of Jimin's normal log reads like a love letter. Not to a star, not to an idol, but to a person. To ParkJimin, the human being from Busan, South Korea, who works harder than almost anyone alive and who still, in the middle of all of it, takes the time to fold his clothes properly and take his vitamins. Before we wrap up, I want to say something directly to anyone watching this who has been feeling overwhelmed lately, because I think that's actually part of why this video resonated so widely. We are all living busy, complicated, often exhausting lives. A lot of us forget to take care of ourselves. A lot of us skip the vitamins, leave the laundry unfolded, rush from one thing to the next without pausing to do the small, loving things that keep us going. And here is one of the most accomplished, most watched, most admired artists in the world, living one of the most intense professional periods of his life, and he is taking his vitamin C. He is folding his clothes. He is treating the small acts of self-care as worthy of attention, worthy of care, worthy of time. If that's not a reminder for the rest of us, I don't know what is. So take your vitamins, fold your clothes, do the small, unglamorous things that take care of the person you are so you can keep showing up for the things that matter. Because that's what Jimin does. And look what it makes possible. If this video moved you, if it made you think, if it made you want to go watch Jimin's normal log for the 5th time, I completely understand, and you should absolutely do that. Then please hit the like button, because it genuinely helps this channel reach more army who want to talk about these moments in depth. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because the Busan homecoming coverage is coming and you do not want to miss it. Drop a comment below and tell me, what was your reaction to Jimin's normal log? What moment hit you the hardest? I read every comment and I love hearing from you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for loving Jimin the way you do. And I'll see you in the next one.